420, happy 420. Yes, woo woo. 8 o'clock, 8:11 to be exact, Eastern time. Over here in beautiful Atlanta, Georgia, which is where I am. It is this beautiful spring weather. The sun is just setting. You can kind of see it behind me. Windows are open. We feel that spring air. We hear the birds. It's really, really lovely. So thank you for joining me. So I decided to do a recap of the Yoni Egg video that I posted a few weeks ago for a couple reasons. One, because a lot of people missed it. And it was some really, really good information. I mean, not only good, but just really important information. So a lot of people missed it. And then for some reason, I don't know what happened with Blab, but the replay didn't get recorded or posted. So there was really no way for anyone to go back and review it. So I decided to just go ahead and redo the video. So this is the Yoni Egg recap. My name is Chrysalis, for those of you who don't know who I am. I am a holistic healer. I'm from California. I'm based in Atlanta, Georgia right now. I own a business, it's Therapeutic Vibrations, where I offer holistic healing, crystal energy work, ritual work, meditation, consulting, oracle readings, all of that. It is operated out of Align Wellness Center, which is owned by Dr. Darnita Henry. Shout out to her. She just had a baby, so she's on maternity leave right now. But Align Wellness Center is her center. And it's just a group of us healers in there that work out of her center. So there's her, and that's what I do. And then I'm also a real estate agent, and that's I call that my matrix gig. So that's who I am. And I've been in this for many, many years. Crystals are my specialty, which is the reason why I'm choosing to talk about Yoni eggs, because Yoni eggs are made out of crystals. So, I really kind of wanted there to be some information out, like more science-based, and information on how they work, where they come from, how to use them, all of that. So let me see, let me run through my shout outs. Darnita's one person I'll shout out. Shout out to Shaman Hands, Mr. Stilts, Mr. Gentle Giant, Mr. Energy, the energy guy over here. He's kind of in the background holding it down with the masculine energy, masculine support. Helping me with some of the technical stuff and just kind of holding space. So shout out to Mr. Shaman Hands. Is there anything you'd like to say?
Peace to the family.
He's over here thoroughly enjoying this 420, getting that in.
Oh, yes.
Yes. So I'm going to have him probably, ask for his input, because today I'll be speaking to the ladies, to our goddesses, but we definitely get support from our men, and Shaman Hand still is that representation of that masculine support. So throughout this broadcast, I will be asking him to kind of join in and ask any questions, answer any questions just from a male perspective. So, thank you. Thank you. So those are my shout outs so far. So why did I choose this topic, the Yoni eggs? There's a specific story that happened that kind of motivated me to do this particular broadcast, and I won't get into that. But from that experience, I realized that there's a lot of people buying Yoni eggs. There's a lot of people distributing Yoni eggs, and there's without the information. So Yoni eggs are kind of like a trend, and they're healing. They are a healing tool, but there's a lot of lack of understanding around it because it's a trend, first of all, and two, people are selling and purchasing them without having any real understanding as to what they do or how they work. And so there's a lot of people purchasing these healing tools and not being able to tap into the full benefits of them because of just a lack of understanding. So I get a lot of questions from women about Yoni eggs. A lot of questions about crystals in general. Yoni eggs are made out of crystals. But a lot of questions about specific Yoni eggs. Where do I get them? Where do I put them? How do I use them? How do I clean them and charge them? Are they safe? And it's interesting for me to get these questions. And it's interesting for me to witness that these questions are being asked on a regular, which lets me know that the information is just not being presented. So I decided to do this because it is something that affects women directly, because we're the ones that use Yoni eggs, and it affects us directly, and it is such a widespread trend that I feel that it's really important for the information to be out there. Women really, really, really should know as much as they can about the healing tools that they're using, especially something that gets put into the womb. That's where Yoni Eggs go. So I'll talk more about the specifics. Let's see. So before I go in, let me see. We got some people in here. I do see some people in here. Okay. So I will say a couple of things. If anybody has any questions, feel free to ask them. Type them in the chat. Ask them on Facebook. I am on Facebook as well right now. I'm multitasking. Or text me. I know a lot of people who are who subscribed or personal friends of mine who wanted this information. So you want to send me a text message as I'm doing this broadcast and ask questions, definitely feel free, because I want people to be as informed as possible. So I will move forward with talking about my own Yoni egg journey. So Yoni eggs are something that I've been using recently, very, very recently. So for a while, I'd heard about them for a long time before I started using them myself. And I would have women who would ask me, and I would refer them somewhere else. I would let them know about the crystals they were using. So if they said, hey, I have this Clear Quartz Yoni egg, what is it good for? What can I do with it? And I would tell them, well, I don't have any personal, reference as far as the egg, because I've never used the Yoni egg, but I can tell you what that Clear Quartz will do. And that's how I approached that for a very long time, because I'm not in the habit of sharing information or giving knowledge about something I've never used or experienced myself personally. So for a long time, I just wasn't on the Yoni egg bandwagon. And then a couple years ago, I was gifted someone's their crystal collection, and in that crystal collection they had a Yoni egg, but they didn't know, they never used it, they didn't know what it was, they just were collecting crystals, and it was made out of jasper, and I felt drawn to it. Jasper is a fire stone, it's fire element, and Leos, I'm a Leo, tend to be attracted to jasper. So I started, researching it, Yoni eggs and whatnot, and I started using them in my own personal rituals. And, fire crystals are good for purification. So in the beginning, I was using the jasper to purify my womb and clear out any energy, in between sexual partners, because I do practice a poly lifestyle. And, which means that I would tend to have multiple, partners I'm intimate with. And I'm very cautious about maintaining the integrity of my energy between partners. So, I would make sure that my womb was cleared and purified from one partner to the other. So I use my egg for that. However, I could only really use it for that purpose because, the stone is so intense that, for one, I couldn't wear it all the time. And two, I couldn't wear it for any reason. It had to be specifically for purification. Otherwise, it just was not, vibrating with me on any other level but that. So that's when I started really using the egg. That was my introduction. And then some months ago, I was gifted a Clear Quartz Egg. I got to a point where I couldn't use my jasper. It was done with me. It was like, I'm good. You purified your womb as much as you can. Like, you're good. So I switched to Clear Quartz. I felt that I needed it. Actually, before that, I felt like I needed a jade egg. But by the time I was able to get one, whatever season I was going through where I felt like I needed that particular crystal was past. And so I didn't need jade. It's clear quartz. So I was gifted the clear quartz egg. And I programmed it. I programmed it for what I needed at the time, which was my womb to be purified. And more so, specifically, I wanted to relieve any blockages in my womb. So when I programmed it, I said, I instructed it to clear any and all blockages in my womb. And that's all I said, and I used it for the first time. I meditated with it, did some yoga with it, and then, took it out, put it in its place, cleaned it, whatever. And within 15 minutes of me using it, my moon cycle came. And not only when it came, I'm talking, it came. Like, I felt like it was, this is graphic and TMI, but we're all adults here and women who have moon cycles. But when mine came after I used that clear quartz egg, I felt like I was peeing on myself. I felt like there was so much blood coming out that I felt like I had my water broke, like if I was in labor. And when I went to the restroom, I had a pad on, and the pad was soaked with blood, and it had a lot of blood clots, and pieces of my uterine lining, and in the toilet, and I had to really kind of laugh at myself because it did what I told it to do. I told it to remove all blockages. So that's exactly what it was doing. So, and then because I don't work with clear quartz a lot, I forgot how intense clear quartz is. So I had to, kind of pause using it. And I didn't really use it a whole lot after that, but it didn't matter because, the energy was already in my womb. And so it was clearing all blockages. So I had situations where I'd be out and I'm still on my cycle bleeding, but it would just be gushing out. I had a very, embarrassing situation on MARTA where, I ended up with a puddle of blood on the bus floor because of just, my womb basically resetting itself. So what I had to do was I had to go back and reprogram the clear quartz and for it to just say, hey, my chakras, I just want you to align my chakras. That's all you're doing. No more. My womb's clear. So, that's my own personal experience with the Yoni eggs. And so with my clear quartz, that's what I'm working with now. And I do it more so for ritual work, and just kind of, again, aligning my chakras. So that's my own personal journey with the Yoni eggs. And for me specifically, I use it to cultivate my goddess energy. So, and I think that's why a lot of women use Yoni eggs. A lot of women use Yoni eggs because, there's imbalances, for one, healing work with the womb, but just personal imbalances with the divine feminine. And a lot of women now, especially Nubian women, want to just really connect to Mother Earth and moon energy, water energy, and just really work on being in our feminine. And the eggs they help with that, most definitely. So, it just is, my aunt's coming to say hi. So yeah, a lot of us don't have, that connection with our divine feminine. And so we use the eggs to cultivate that. So for me, that's been my lifelong journey because as a Leo, it's a masculine sign. When Leo women tend to be masculine and very comfortable in that masculinity. And so I'm getting to an age where, I want to connect more with my feminine and the water moon energy. And so the Yoni egg does that for me. And so that's my own personal journey with Yoni eggs. So where do Yoni eggs come from? So Yoni eggs, now, even though this is a trend, it's not new. Yoni eggs have been around for thousands of years. It's traced back to ancient China. The Chinese royalty used Yoni eggs. They were actually specifically made and used by Asian royal families. And back then they were made out of jade. Jade is a very precious stone to the Chinese. And so there was jade eggs that were made and used by the women, the emperor's wife and concubines. And the whole purpose of them being used back then was to tighten the walls, the vaginal walls, or what we call kegels. Did I say that right? Is it kegels or kegels? Kegels? Still? Huh? However, okay, kegels. I say kegels. So kegels, is the exercise that women do to, we tighten the pelvic floor, basically squeezing the walls of the vagina to just, make them tighter and stronger. And so, there was this whole art, in ancient China around that and using eggs. And so that's where it came from, the eggs itself. Now, the word yoni is actually Sanskrit, and it's Sanskrit for vagina. So I don't know at what point, because in the past they were called jade eggs. I don't know at what point they started becoming called yoni eggs. But yoni is Sanskrit for vagina. And the whole idea is to cultivate a healthy vagina. And not just physically, that because, it's great to physically have a healthy vagina and tight vaginal walls and, to always be nice and lubricated and wet and, and to have easy sex and all of that. But the idea is that, if you have a healthy vagina, then you overall radiate healthiness as a woman. You radiate beauty, longevity, and just overall health. And the idea is that stems from having a healthy vagina. And that's talked about a lot. Even like Queen Afua talks about having an angry vagina. Like she gives all these talks about how to come out of having an angry vagina or an unhealthy vagina. So that's where Yoni eggs originated from. Let's see. I also want to make sure I cover everything. So before I go into, let's see. Oh, that's what I'm missing. I knew I was missing something. Oh, okay. Oh, okay. So, you know what? Okay. Hold up. All right, that's better. That's what I was missing. When you strengthen the vagina and the second chakra, you also strengthen your life force. So what you're doing with the Yoni eggs is, when you're practicing tightening the vaginal walls, you are securing your root chakra. So what happens is that, and they teach this in yoga, when we start to gather and store our life force energy, it can leak out through our root chakra if our root chakra isn't secure. And the way it leaks, our life force or our chi leaks out is if our muscles down there aren't tight or secure. And so when you do the kegels or the exercises with the yoni eggs, it secures the root chakra, and it also generates energy into the root, into the sacral, and also into your solar plexus. And the life force energy ends up getting held in your life, in your solar plexus. So all those first three chakras are activated like immediately, and then they're secure, the energy secure in there, because your root chakra is pretty much closed because it's tight. And so that's pretty much how it works. And it's even more powerful because you're using earth energy in order to cultivate that. So that on the metaphysical level is how the Yoni eggs work. The other part of it too is the shape. So a lot of people don't know that the shape of a crystal determines how it vibrates and its strength. So, you'll buy a crystal and you'll notice that it'll be a sphere. So if you get not an egg, but just any crystal, you can get like a crystal ball, and it'll radiate the energy will flow out a certain way because it's shaped like a circle. And so it ripples, like almost like if you drop pebbles into water and it ripples out. That's how a round shaped crystal generates its energy. Pyramids, they pull energy. Well, it's two ways they do it because of the point at the top. Pyramids will either pull the energy from the environment around them through the points on the bottom and then come up through the top of the point, or they'll pull the energy down through the point and it'll ripple out from the 4 points on the base. So wands, crystal wands, those are basically like lasers. The energy will come out pointed out like a laser. So you have these different shapes that determine how the crystal energy comes out. So typically an egg will be inserted this way, and I'll explain why a little bit later. So what happens then is that this part will be the part that is in the womb. And so what happens is that two things, either way, because there's two ways to generate the flow of energy, either in or out. So if it's going in, then the energy is going to come into the tip, and it's going to come out as a ripple through this base part, and it'll ripple and just settle into the womb. And that's how you can draw in and store energy. Now, if you're trying to purge or get rid of energy, then you can have it flow through this base part and then come down as a laser pointed out towards the earth and out of your womb through this tip. So these are the two ways that the energy will flow from a yoni egg or a crystal. Okay, so the shape is actually really important. The other way it works is because of the mineral. So the mineral, all crystals tune to the vibration of the body based off of minerals, because the same minerals that are in an egg, that are in a mineral, same minerals that are in a crystal are also in the body. And so that's the basis of any crystal energy healing. The stones tune into the body, the vibration of the body based off of the shared minerals. So there's a lot of stones that have copper, zinc, magnesium, sodium, like all these minerals that are also in the body. And so that is that's just the basic science behind how crystal energy healing works. How to choose an egg. So I get a lot of those questions too. What I will say is be very, 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 very intentional about your egg. The reason why is because your egg is going into the most sacred space that you have, which is as a woman, which is our womb. And it's really important. It's a very important practice to be discriminating as to what we put in our temple anyway, overall, but specifically what we put in our womb, especially when you're talking about using it as a form of healing. So I realize that a lot of us women, we don't think about what goes in our womb. We really don't. We really don't. We don't think about, if we use any type of like contraceptives, what type of contraceptives are being used, if we use those at all. We don't think about the penises that we allow into our womb. We don't think about, if we're using like tampons or any type of like feminine hygiene. We don't think about the foods that we eat that affect our womb. And so that's the reason why I say, as a disclaimer, the very first thing is just be very intentional about when you choose your egg, because it's going in there and it's going to be generating energy. And I think that once we start to become mindful of this and what we're putting into our womb, just from this one thing, it'll start to spill over into other stuff. We'll start to be a lot more just choosy, as we should be, about what goes into our womb space. So there's different ways you can choose your egg. It could be by a particular stone. It could just be like, oh, I want amethyst, or oh, carnelian's pretty. Oh, I think I want to choose carnelian. So it could be by a particular stone. By need, you could come in and just say that, I feel like I don't have any creativity. I want a stone that's going to help me with my creativity. You can say that I need to heal emotional trauma. It could be that you want to do a certain type of ritual work, so you can choose your egg that way. It could be based off of the healing work that you need done. So again, I mentioned emotional trauma. It could be a breakup. You're healing from a breakup. You need to cleanse your room from like a long-term relationship. It could be specific physical stuff, fibroids, cysts, infertility, that kind of stuff. That's a way to choose your egg based off of that. And then the attraction, whatever you're attracted to. So based off of our charts, we, in our zodiacs, that a lot of times we are attracted to certain stones based off of our zodiac. So I mentioned earlier about me being a Leo and then me being attracted to the jasper. I also tend to be attracted to garnet, any black stones, obsidian, onyx, jet. I tend to be attracted to carnelian, any red stones, and anything that has a fire element. So that's me. I know Libras tend to be attracted to amethyst. Aries tend to be attracted to carnelian. Tauruses tend to be attracted to rose quartz. And so, and there's certain vibrations in those stones that are particular, to those signs. But you have to be careful because a lot of times it may be an imbalance. So for me, for example, I'm attracted to red stones. However, I already have too much fire in my chart and I have absolutely no water. So, I end up creating imbalances by wearing red stones such as carnelian and garnet and all of those, especially too because a lot of those are root chakra based or sacral based stones, and I already got enough energy going on there. I don't need any assistance with my sacral. My sacral is fully cultivated and healthy. My sex drive is very well cultivated. So carnelian and garnet, all it's gonna do is just completely make things extra. What I'm doing now is starting to connect to stones I'm not typically attracted to. I'm starting to wear more amethyst now, which is air element. I do like kyanite. Kyanite is a blue stone. And then like stuff like fluorite, aventurine, like so green stones, water stones, things like that, selenite, all of that. So that's what creates, a balance. And so that's why I say, yes, be mindful of what you're attracted to, but also think about the bigger picture and if it's possible that it may create an imbalance. So the other thing too I wanted to mention as far as the Yoni eggs and choosing is that there's sizes. There are different sizes. They typically come small, medium, and large. And the size is depending on how much work that you are wanting to put into your vaginal walls. So yeah, so what it is like what I tell people with the sizes, and I'm going to address this later when I mention like where to get the eggs. But with the sizes, it really is best practice to physically go in to a store to see, because I mean you can there's no way you can really gauge or tell if the size works for you if you're ordering a Yoni egg on the internet. But what I tell people is if you are going to be using it for the first time, that medium size is the best way to go. And this is the thing too, because depending on the manufacturer, a medium might be medium for one person and then a small for another company who's making Yoni eggs, depending on how they cut the eggs or shape the eggs. So, but typically medium is the safest, and it'll get you some good work in, with the Kegels or Kegels. So medium is the best way to go, especially if you're going to order online, because you really can't go wrong with the medium-sized Yoni egg. Now there is large, and large is good for real beginners, and it's not large as far as like, it'll be any uncomfortableness in your vagina as far as holding a large yoni egg, it'll actually be easier because it'll be easier to keep it in if your vaginal walls are not strengthened, if you're just working with it for the first time. So because it's large, it won't come out as easy. So it takes less vaginal muscles to keep it in. And then a small is actually more work because, you know, it'll come out easier. So it takes extra vaginal walls strength in order to keep it in. So the way the size works with yoni eggs is actually backwards. More work if it's a smaller size, less work if it's the biggest size. But if you're just not sure, medium is the best way to start. So those are the sizes as far as the eggs. How to use an egg. So I'm gonna go down the list of the way to use the egg. The first thing you do when you get it is you cleanse it. And you cleanse it physically and you cleanse it energetically. So when you cleanse it physically, you can use coconut oil because coconut oil is antibacterial, or any other type of antibacterial type natural oil, which like tea tree is another one, clove is another one. Those can be used to physically clean the egg. You can also boil the egg in salt water. And you actually don't necessarily have to boil it per se, but boil the water, get it hot, and then place the egg in it. And that'll kill any bacteria, germs, or anything if you're using it for the first time. And actually, not just for the first time, but anytime you want to cleanse your egg. So those are the safest and most natural ways to cleanse a yoni egg. You can use soap. I would suggest using a natural soap if you are going to do that. But not all soaps are antibacterial, so you might want to be careful with that. And also, you know, using soaps and that soaps have a tendency to affect a woman's pH levels. So I don't recommend soaps, but you can use soaps to clean your yoni egg. So that's how to do it on a physical level. If you want to clean it on an energetic level, you would cleanse it the same way you would any type of stone. So you can smudge it, sage it. And I would suggest using sage, sandalwood if you're going to use incense, frankincense, myrrh, any one of those. You just hold it over the smoke and it'll clean the egg energetically, or the stone crystal energetically. You can also bury it in the earth because the earth will draw out any of the impurities and toxins and negative energies out of the egg. And it'll also be like a reset because the earth energy will basically absorb anything and give it like a fresh new start. So burying it in the earth. And then also sunlight. Sunlight is another way to cleanse it. Sunlight also charges the yoni egg as well. So, and that's just, you know, easy. You can set it outside for a couple of hours, let it soak in the sunlight. The sun will definitely clear any negative energy out of it. It'll knock it right out the egg. And then it'll also simultaneously charge it. So those are the steps. And then after that, programming. So I kind of paused with the programming because programming is one of the most important steps when you're using an egg, because you want to make sure that the egg is doing exactly what you want it to do. And you cannot be vague. I wouldn't even recommend using an egg unless you do program it, because it'll just do whatever it wants to do to you all willy-nilly. And then that's how you end up with women who, you know, I see in these Yoni egg groups that have all these side effects and they have all these questions and all these things coming up and all these things going on because they just got the egg, they didn't energetically cleanse it, they didn't program it, and then a lot of times they're using a stone they have no business even using because it's not even for them, and then they'll use it and then they're like, oh my goodness, I'm emotional and I'm crying all the time, or oh my goodness, I'm angry, or oh my goodness, I'm having nightmares, and it's like, well, yeah, because you just got this thing and you didn't program it. It doesn't know, it's just doing whatever it wants to do in your womb. So when you get the egg, tell it exactly what it is that you want it to do and be very specific. And you know that when you do program it, that doesn't necessarily mean that that's it. You know, like, oh, I can't have it do anything else now because I told it to, you know, cut the cords from my ex-husband, and now I want it to attract a new relationship, but I can't have it do that now because I'm having it do this. No, when you want to change its program, you can totally do that. You know, you just cleanse it and then you just tell it what you want it to do next. So be very, very, very intentional. And the reason why I even say that too is because you should know what type of healing that you're doing, what type of work that you're doing. So it's not just about the egg knowing what it's doing, it's about you knowing what you're doing too. You know why you're getting this egg, know why you're using it in your room, know what type of ritual work, know what type of healing that you want it to do, but that you need. So yes, just be very, very, very intentional. Program it, and it's very easy. You can speak to it and just tell it what you want it to do. You can meditate with it, and visualize as you sit and you meditate, hold the egg, or just kind of have it near you and visualize what it is that you want it to do, and it'll pick it up, it'll do it for you just like that. How are the ways to program? A lot of people, will hold their hand over their stones, and then they'll just let a certain energy radiate through the hands, and then they'll speak out and tell it, through the hand energy, channeling what they want their stones or their eggs to do. But no matter what method you use, program your egg, please, please, please program your egg. And if you have any questions about that process, please reach out to me, ask me. I'm very reachable, very approachable, and I will guide you through that process if you're not clear. But that is the most important thing to do when you get a Yoni egg, is to program it to tell it what you want it to do. And also, it's important because that's the only way that you are going to be able to gauge whether it's working or not. So you have an objective or an idea what you want in the healing. You tell the stone, and then you can track your progress because you know what the end result, what you want that to look like or what it's supposed to be. And then you can gauge whether it's working or not, whether you might need a different type of stone, whether you might need the Yoni egg at all. Because a lot of women are using Yoni eggs and they don't even need them. And that's a whole nother rant that I can go on. Yeah. Go on the rant? Okay. I mean, because it's like, there's a lot of women will a Yoni egg is a healing tool, but it's not the end all tool. Like, it's like, how would I even put it? It's just like, man, I can't even think of an analogy off the top of my head that would even go with it. But, like, a lot of women will buy a Yoni egg expecting it to get rid of all their problems or all their issues. And it's just one small tool in a whole journey of personal work that needs to be done. And sometimes you don't even need the egg. Sometimes it's as simple as, oh, I want a Yoni egg because I have fibroids, and I heard that Yoni eggs will help get rid of fibroids. Well, yes, they do. But what also gets rid of fibroids is exercise, yoga, and eating healthy. So no, you don't need the egg for the fibroids. It'll help assist and facilitate, but and then a lot of women will get the egg and then they'll just think that that's just all they need, just, for that one thing. And it's just like, okay. Some women will be like, well, rose quartz, I want to get a rose quartz Yoni egg because, I want to attract me a new man or whatever. Well, it's not that. Yes, rose quartz definitely attracts, it increases your magnetism. But there's other personal things that you do. Meditation increases your magnetism. What your diet, and I always go back to that. Don't we always go back to that? That's why I'm laughing. Increases your magnetism. Your thinking, just the way you think, like, increases your magnetism. So yeah, you went out and you bought this Yoni egg, this rose quartz Yoni egg, but you didn't. I mean, you didn't need it because all you had to do was change your thinking, and that fixed your level of magnetism. So yes, that's just my gentle rant about women in the Yoni eggs. Buy it, cleanse it, charge it, program it, using it, insert it. It goes inside the womb, it goes inside the vagina, and I was joking last time I did this because my simple instructions are get it warm, get it wet, put it in. That's how you insert the Yoni egg. So you warm it up. Because it's made of stones, it's crystals, and they can be cold, if you're not warming them up in the hands or whatever. So warm it up using your hands, body heat. Or you can put it in some warm water, not hot, because then that's going to be the extreme opposite, but warm water, run them under some warm water, and then insert it. You want to make sure you're lubricated. So you're either going to, as a woman, you're going to either be naturally lubricated, or if you do have some issues with it, then coconut oil is always my best practice for a natural holistic lubricant. Just put a little bit on and then insert it. You insert it with the tip down. The reason why is because all the weight is in the bigger part, the more round part. And what you want to be able to do is, because of the weight is at the top, when you want it to come out, it'll be easier for it to come down, be free to push it out, because all the weight is centered and focused pointing down. So that's how you want to insert it. Also, it's just easier and it's more comfortable when it's inserted with the round part at the top. So those are my instructions. And it's also easier to grab it. Like say you get it in, or you want, and it, need to push it up. It's easier to push it up with the tip. Or if you want to get it out, but it's like only a certain point of your vagina and it won't come out all the way, if the tip is face down, it's easier for you to just kind of reach in there and pull it out yourself. So that's the reason why best practice is tip down when you're inserting it. Let's see. Questions. So, questions I get are, and I wrote them down, so I'm looking. Does it hurt? No, it doesn't hurt. It doesn't hurt to use a Yoni egg. I mean, all the other things that we put in our vaginas and our wombs, Yoni egg is the least of our problems. So no, it doesn't hurt. You do feel it, but it's not an uncomfortable feeling. It's no different than if you're using tampons, or it's way smaller than a penis. Well, I hope it's way smaller than a penis. I don't know what penis some of y'all might be working with, but yeah, it's way smaller than a penis. So I know I'm a mess. But yeah, so it doesn't hurt. So no. Are there sensations? Yes, there's sensations. It feels good. That's the main sensation. Because it's a crystal and it's vibrating a lot of energy, and especially depending on what type of crystal you're using, it is going to immediately activate your second chakra, which is your sex chakra. It's going to immediately give you these tingling, vibrating sensations right inside of your womb, and you're going to feel it in your subtle and your physical body. So a lot of women will get eggs and use them, and they'll orgasm immediately. It's one reason why it is recommended for women who have any type of challenges or achieving orgasm, because the vibration of the crystal will immediately get you there. It'll get you wet, it'll get you aroused, like your vaginal juices will start to flow. You'll get warm, your womb will get warm. So you'll feel all that. So those are the typical sensations that you feel when you are using a Yoni egg, a physical sensations. As far as emotional, sometimes depending on the type of stone, stuff might come up. So, you might get happy, you might get sad, you might be crying a lot. That does happen a lot. Women cry using Yoni eggs. Anger is another one because we do hold anger in our wombs as women. So those are the typical just kind of sensations, or you'll just be blissful because of the orgasm sensation. So those are the sensations that you'll feel. The other question that I get is, does it hurt? I mean, no, that doesn't hurt. Does it get stuck? That's the hands down the most common question I get from women. No, your egg will never get stuck. It will disappear for a while sometimes. And I laugh because, our wombs is a portal. Our wombs are a portal. And the eggs, they're like any crystal. When they go in and they do their work, and when they're done with their work, they're done. So anyone who's worked with crystals before will notice a trend of crystals just like disappearing on you. You might have a necklace that just fell off your neck and got lost, or a stone that you always kept by your bed, but then you woke up one morning and it was just gone. And a lot of times stones, when they're done with their work, they will disappear, and then when they're ready to come back, sometimes they will come back. And it's the same thing with the eggs. So with the Yoni eggs, they'll go in, and then when they're done, they'll come out. And let me tell you, it won't matter what you're doing or how much you squeeze your vaginal walls to try to keep them in. They will shoot out. And I've had experiences with that where, and this is what I get to, and I'll get into this risks or side effects of using Yoni eggs. But when I first started using them, the misbelief that I should wear it all day, because you should not wear Yoni egg all day. But I would be out and about running my errands, and the egg's been in for hours. I'm good. All of a sudden I start to feel it come down, and I'm like, oh shit, my Yoni egg about to pop out, and I'm in the middle of this Target. And then I'm like, okay, so then I start to try to squeeze muscles and try to walk, not obvious, but like I just was super like uptight to try to keep it in, and it's just not having it. It's like ready to just come out. And it'll shoot out, and then depending on whether I have underwear or not on that day will determine how that situation goes. But a few times it has happened, I have underwear on, so then I'll just go into the bathroom to pull it out, put it in my purse, whatever, and then just go on about my day. But they don't get stuck. They will come out when they're done, or they'll get sucked in if they still need more work to do. And when that happens, don't be alarmed. What will happen, because what it is that it's just saying it needs to do more work on you. So if you get to a point where it's like you're pushing and it won't come out, it's okay. Just relax. Don't worry about it. Wait a couple of hours and then try again and see if it's ready to come out, and just continue to do that until it does come out eventually. So no, the Yoni eggs do not get stuck, but they come out when they're ready to come out. So that's what I'm gonna say about that. Can I use the restroom with it? Yes and no. And I say yes and no because it depends on what you're doing in the restroom. So the biggest thing is you never want to lose your Yoni egg down the toilet. That is the worst feeling. I've never experienced it because I'm very much like I'm not about to lose any of my eggs down the drain. But it has happened. Women in these groups, they've plenty of stories constantly about either you go to the bathroom forgetting that it's in, or it'll just come out when you're using the restroom. So now you can urinate with the Yoni egg in. However, and it can stay in, it will stay in, but there is a chance it'll come out. So what I suggest is, and I know it might seem gross, but anything fluids come out of your body, they're your body. So if you just cup your hand down there and just kind of, let the urine flow through, but just kind of hold your hand to catch the egg if it comes out, that's what I would suggest. Because the only other option is to try to push the egg out before you go to the bathroom. But if you already have to pee, then you're just going to end up urinating on yourself if you do that. So, it's less of a mess if you just try to catch it. Now, if you're going to defecate or have a bowel movement, it is a more of a chance that the egg will pop out, because the same muscles that you use to push out any type of feces are the same muscles that you'd be using to tighten or loosen the vaginal walls. So that's why I say you can go to the bathroom, but then you can't go to the bathroom with it. It just depends. So safe practices, if you just don't want to, if you want to avoid a mess, or you want to avoid losing your egg down the toilet, I would just, not use the bathroom with it in. My favorite question is, can I have sex with the egg? And I laugh because last week I said, and it's the same answer I'm going to give, it depends on your partner's penis size. So, the average penis size is 6 inches, 5.5 to 6 inches erect. Stop laughing. You always laugh. Why are you laughing, Silk? Would you like to share why you're laughing?
No comment.
No comment. Right. So, so the average penis size is 5.5 to 6 inches erect. Sometimes even 7, but 7 is kind of anything above. Even anything 6 and above is above average. And you know what? I want to call to question that research, because it makes me wonder, whoever did that research, how many black men that they tested, because that's not average for black men. But so I will say the average black male or Nubian male penis size is about 7 to 8 inches erect. So I will readdress that and put that disclaimer. But I will say, however, though, so it depends on how big your partner, his penis size, but it also depends on where your cervix sits. Because if you have a higher little cervix, will determine if you can do that, have sex with the Yoni egg in. Now, I will say, me personally, I've never had sex with the Yoni egg in. I'm not comfortable with it for my own body, because my cervix does sit low, and it is. I do tend to have. I can have sex. It can be uncomfortable for me if my partner is large anyway, and depending on the position. So if I had that coupled with the egg, that would just be too much for me. But there are plenty of women, and I've seen it in groups and stuff, who've said that they've had sex with their egg in, and it's been the best sex that they've ever had. So just gauge your own body. Know what your womb is like as far as its positioning and how deep it is, where your cervix lies, which positions are best for you. Know your partner, his size. And if you do decide to use your egg while having intercourse, let it be an ongoing conversation with you and your partner. And make sure that it's as comfortable as possible for him and for you. Start off gentle. Just start off real gentle. Because remember, the eggs are for the purpose of the eggs are for the purpose of healing. So it could be a very powerful healing of the womb when you have the energy of the crystal coupled with the energy of your partner. But again, it has to be very intentional, very gentle, and just an ongoing communication, ongoing conversation with you and your partner. And I could talk more about that, but then I'm gonna be getting into sex medicine. That's a whole nother broadcast.
That we will be
giving. Yes, we will be doing the sex medicine. So I'm gonna give the floor a little bit to still to see if he had any questions or anything like men might be worried or concerned about or wondering about the Yoni eggs, or what's up?
Well, I know men want to know. Well, I don't know about these Yoni eggs. What if she start using these Yoni eggs and then don't want me no more?
Yes. Yes. Yes.
I don't want her using Yoni eggs.
I don't know if I want to get her that Yoni egg. Well, for one, man, you absolutely do want to get her a Yoni egg because when she starts cultivating that womb, she's gonna want you more. Like I said, like I mentioned earlier, as soon as you insert it and you feel the energy, you feel goddessy, you feel feminine, you feel juicy and wet, and then you looking, okay, where's the penis? Where he at? Where, like I'm ready now, I'm ready. And so yeah, women, because this is the thing, Yoni eggs, they're not a tool for sexual gratification. So they're not a tool for masturbation, really. That's something I want to make clear too. Like a lot of women think that, I mean, not a lot, but there are women who have used Yoni eggs as a form of masturbation. And that's great if that's part of your healing process, but that's not the intention of the Yoni egg. The Yoni egg is to completely cultivate the womb and to open your sexuality and make you more sexual. And so that as a woman, once she starts using that, then she's going to want to engage you more, and it's even important, like I said, for women who've never had an orgasm. So you could get your lady, your queen, a Yoni egg, and then you're already feeling away because she may not have ever had an orgasm with you. And it's not because of anything with you. You might be a great lover, but it's just her womb is just locked, and so, and then she's feeling away because she's feeling like less than a woman because she's not, she feels like something's wrong with her because she's never had an orgasm. And then she's probably mean as hell because any woman who ain't never had an orgasm is mean. And so there's just all these issues. But then once she gets this Yoni egg and she's got that, that womb energy is unlocked. And then you guys have, and of course you engage, and then she orgasms with you for the first time. And then y'all are just like, everything's wonderful now, So no, there's never going to be a situation where a woman's going to get an egg and feel like she doesn't want her man, or her partner. Because I am aware that we have sisters that are in same gender relationships, so I don't want to discount my LGBT sisters that may be listening, but yeah, either whatever your partner situation is, it's not going to make you want that person less. So yeah, any other questions from the men?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
What is cultivating yin energy mean?
Oh, okay.
Or goddess energy, I think is the term that I hear you use.
Goddess energy, which is
a lot of men are like, well, what is that?
Yes, so cultivating goddess energy. So as I mentioned earlier, a lot of women, especially Nubian women, we are not in tune to our femininity at all. And a lot of it has to do with our conditioning as in the society as women of color, Nubian women. A lot of it has to do with residual effects of slavery. And a lot of this, it has to do with a lot of us subscribing to feminism, which that's a whole nother, rant that I'm really, really tempted to get on. But I will say this because I'm not, I believe feminism is a political ideology that is simply the belief that women should have rights, not the same rights as men, but just rights in general, based off of inequalities of a patriarchal system that we're in. However, the feminist, and I'm all for that. I'm all for any human being, any human having rights, and being able to express themselves and live fully and healthy and, all of that. However, feminism as a movement was not started by women of color. It was started by middle upper class white women, and with all of their cultural stuff and all of their agenda. And I'm not saying anything as far as being racist or whatever, but the facts are the facts, and the facts are that movement was never intended with us in mind. So it never addressed any of our issues. It never addressed any of our concerns. It wasn't even for us. And the reason also why I say that too is because culturally, people of color, all people of color, not just Nubian people, but anyone who has any type of melanin in their skin, we don't come from a background of patriarchy. So even the way that we originally relate between our men and our women is different. You know, that's something that's specifically for white people, and women and white, you know, and white, and it's patriarchy is a white male system, you know. So left to our own devices, we are honored by our men. You know, we love our men, love us. We're honored by our men. Like, it's very established in our culture that, you know, we women, we set the tone for a lot of things. We set the tone for so much that all we need to do is let our men lead. But everything else is us. You know, but we're so like caught up in this whole feminism and I don't need a man and this, you know, this and this and that, and this agenda that was never intended for us, you know. And so, and a lot of feminism completely is on the side of women cultivating masculine energy, masculine traits. And that's the part of it that's the imbalance. And so that's like my side rant before I even, because I'm like, I can do a whole other and I think I will do a broadcast breaking down the feminist movement from its true history. Because a lot of women subscribe to feminism and they don't even know that there's different types of feminism. There's different schools of feminism. A lot of women don't even know the history of the movement. None of that. You know, Black women in feminism didn't even start until the 80s. With Alice Walker and Bell Hooks and all of that, you know. So it's like, y'all, okay, so anyways, that's my whole rant about that. But because we tend to subscribe to an ideology that was never intended with us in mind, you know, we be on some other shit with it, you know. And so we don't know, like, for example, we don't know how to use our natural magnetism to attract things to us. We think we got to go out and get. I got to get action, going out, getting resources. That's a masculine thing. You know, a lot of women were not soft or nurturing. You know, a lot of us are mean, just mean. I'll be like, damn, why are you so mean? You know, and this is coming from someone who I'm naturally my masculinity is dominant. So, I mean, I'm saying this because I understand. And it, you know, and this is just me. That's my chart. That doesn't even include everything else in society that makes me masculine. You know, so, you know, a lot of us, you know, we don't know how to cry, or we don't know how to tune to water and moon energy. We don't know how to be intuitive, you know, like we're naturally built to go into trance and receive messages, you know, and from our ancestors or from our spirit guides, and to know how to move. And then when we go into that trance, that's what orgasm is for. You know, that's what women, we're naturally, you know, we naturally do that. We're naturally made to do that. You know, but a lot of us be walking around so lost. Like that's the reason why I do so many oracle readings, because the women, I'm like, and it's funny when I do them, because the women be like, oh yeah, well, I kind of felt that. Oh, I kind of knew that. Yeah, you felt that. Yeah, you knew that. You didn't need me. You're a woman. You should have felt everything you just paid $50 for me to tell you. You know, it's just like we're not, you know, but we're not tuned into that part of ourselves to even, you know, we're not in our natural role as women. And not only that, but women were the healers of our families, of our tribe. So the state of the tribe is directly reflective of the women in it. So, you know, when I say cultivating that goddess energy, I'm saying cultivating, you know, being soft and nurturing, cultivating, creating. We create. We not only do we create life. Yeah, that's the reason why you have so many women entrepreneurs, because when we create businesses, we create art, we create music, we create, you know, whatever, you know. So that, but a lot of us aren't tuned into that either. So, you know, when I say cultivating goddess energy, it's just learning how to just be more soft and nurturing, magnetism, creativity, just as our goddesses, like our natural role as goddesses. Does that answer the question? Okay. Yeah. Yeah, we're not with it. We're not, You know, and then that's why we get the whole, especially Nubian women, that's why we get the whole angry black woman title. You know, that's a spiritual thing. Like that's more of a spiritual level like stereotype. You know, us as warrior women, like I mean, yeah, you know, I mean, the first Amazons were out of Africa, out of Libya, you know, but and they were warrior women, you know, but you knew they were women. You know what I'm saying? So it's, I mean, yeah, because then I get it because I have that energy too. I have a warrior woman's energy, you know, but I'm still a woman, you know, and there's still only so much that I should do, you know, as a woman. There's certain things like that we need to just let men do. It's just as simple as that. Because you know what? Who wants to really do everything? I know I don't. You know, so you know, and that's why a lot of us get tired and we burn out because we're doubling as the masculine and the feminine energy, and we don't need to be. You know, and then we turn around and we complain about men. Oh, men ain't shit, or men, I can't find a good man. And men, and it's just like, well, I mean, well, for one, you attract what you are. So if you're attracting men who ain't shit, then that means that your divine masculine is not healed, needs work. But the only way to heal your divine masculine is to work on your divine feminine. You know, so that's what goddess work is. Basically, you know, connecting to your feminine and just getting our shit together as women, like for real. You know, and I say this with love and not judging, you know, because, you know, in my own story, and one day I will probably do a broadcast where I just talk about my whole story. But I'm just now healing my own relationship with men. Really, you know, and I'm 32 and I'm just now like, okay, so yeah, I can talk shit. I am qualified to talk shit because I've been there and I'm still in that journey, you know. So you know, I say that with love because we as women, especially as Nubian women, we definitely need to get our shit together. So, yes.